I knew about this long before Hannah made her video. In fact, I was the one who pressured her to make her video. She kind of just made me promise to not make a big deal out of it. But...
It can fairly be said that I do not flatter my audience. I do not begin and end my videos by saying, you guys are the best, I miss you so much, you light up my life with your comments below my videos. No, I produce a certain kind of hard-hitting, highly honest YouTube content, and I'd like to think my audience repays my honesty with their own honesty. However, in this case, we're dealing with a really complex legal knot. It's been created by someone who has been completely dishonest. He's a bad actor, and a lot of people in the audience have not been thinking clearly, even about the primary source. The type of material Norvegan produces refutes itself. It really doesn't need me to refute it. If you're just thinking clearly, or if you're sitting there with graph paper charting out what he's claiming and keeping track of the dates, trust me, it refutes itself. And I both mean what he says in his incredibly long video, The Unmasking Part 5, and I also mean the stuff he says about me. There's a lot of the same type of lie and exaggeration. So like his latest video against me is 2 hours long. Sorry, he's done more since then. I can't say his latest video. But anyway, his 2-hour video against me, you know, at several points he's just sitting there saying, oh, what kind of jobs do you think Eisel did? What kind of career did he have? What kind of employment? I don't know. And he's just speculating wildly that as to what kind of employment history have. He also states in the video that he and Hannah Chloe received a copy of my CV, my resume, the detailed work history I have every job. Now, apart from that, you could know a lot about my work history just by coming here to my YouTube channel, or going to my blog, or going to all the sources on the internet where I talk about my life in a really honest and open way. He sits there and pretends like, oh, well, Eisel has been lying about having a master's degree. When? Show me one source. You have my resume. You have my CV. Eisel, has been lying about speaking Chinese. When? Show me a source. You have my CV. There are lies and exaggerations stacked on at every stage. And the audience is deceived because they want to be deceived. It's not convincing. There's nothing convincing about his act. And we're going to see that here shortly. All right, okay. Last things first. Let's do it in this order. When Norvegan tells you that the police in Thailand were incompetent, did none of you stop to think, ask yourself, or just pay attention to what he says immediately after that? What did the Thai police do that was incompetent? Does he name one thing the Thai police did that was incompetent?
And this is how incompetent the Thai police were.
No! He mentions two things that are great examples of the Thai police being competent and him being a bullshit artist who would not even back up his own bullshit on the record. Now, what are those two things? Number one, he mentioned that there is some kind of recording of Hannah Chloe and Durian Ryder having sex. It is not clear if it's an audio recording or a video recording. It might be audio only. And he complains that the Thai police were really interested in getting that recording. Do you have any idea how much you have just condemned yourself out of your own mouth?
When we were at the police station, they were obsessed with this recording that Harley had mentioned several times. So,
from the perspective of the competent police, there was a high-profile shooting case in the United States. I'm intentionally not going to mention the name of the people who were shot, the person who did the shooting. There was a shooting in the United States where a security guard killed a young black male teenager. I believe he was still a teenager. It was very controversial. There was a lot of news coverage. Okay? The police interrogated the security guard who had shot this guy. So in this case, there was no doubt about who shot who. The question was about the motives and self-defense, this kind of thing. They got his whole account. And then you know what the police say to him? They say to him, don't worry. We have the whole thing on security camera. We have the whole thing on videotape. Do you know why they said that? To see his reaction. Some guys, when you take them in and interrogate them, and they give you a whole story, and then you tell them, don't worry, I'm sure your story is true. I'm sure your story will hold up in court because we have it all on videotape. Some guys react like this. I'm going to have to make some adjustments to my statement. And some guys are just unhappy, and some, okay, when the Thai police found out that there was a recording, a videotape or an audio recording of this sexual event, and for some reason you didn't want them to have it. You weren't happy about it. You didn't think it would vindicate your side of the story. Do you think the police were born yesterday? You think they're new at this here game, homie? You think they weren't paying real close attention to what you said and how you said it every time they brought up this recording, and you gave these really evasive answers that you just were not really interested in getting this recording, and it wouldn't make any difference anyway. What you've spelled out in your own version of events in this video shows why the Thai police regarded you as a bullshit artist. Okay? It would be very different if your attitude towards this recording. This is one of the 2 points. And what is the other point that he claims shows that the Thai police were incompetent? What was the other point? This is the only other description of his experience with the Thai police, good or bad. His only other complaint was they asked Hannah to make a sworn deposition, to make a statement. They asked her to tell her story on the record, and he vaguely says, like, oh, there would have had to be 5 policemen in the room. Bullshit. You think that's incompetence?
Hannah had to tell the whole thing in front of like 5 policemen or something. It was just a mess.
That is step 1. I have been hit by a car, and when I went to the police to report it, the process begins with me giving a sworn deposition, a statement, testimony, whatever term you want to use. Deposition in the United States is legally accurate. It begins, and yet there may be 5 cops in the room, and I may be on videotape. And why would I be afraid of that? If I'm confident, yeah, the car hit me. I'm not lying to you. Oh, are you willing to make a sworn deposition? The police were very aggressive with me. They really interrogated the shit, and the guy was screaming at me about whether or not... It was ridiculous. I got hit by a car. I mean, it's not even a big deal to me. You know, this guy is really aggressive. I was like, yeah. Sure, give me the paperwork, man. He's like, you have to sign this paper saying that you told the truth, and you have to have a witness, and if your witness's story doesn't back yours up or you lied, you're going to go to jail for... The cops really interrogated me. Yeah, sure, man. It's cool. I got hit by a car. Yeah, let's give it bail. Let's do it, bro. I was not easily intimidated. Why do you think the cops do that, Michael? It's because of people like you. It's because of people like you who drop the case when you're told you just have to make a statement on the record. In what parallel universe could this case have proceeded past this point without Hannah making a deposition? What do you think? You went to the police asking them to persecute a crime that happened years earlier, I think about 2 years earlier. A lot of time has passed. You have no interest in getting or giving them this recording of what happened. That's suspicious, homie. Oh, gee, you got robbed at gunpoint. Yeah, the security camera footage, but you wouldn't want to see that, officer. You wouldn't want to see the security camera footage of what happened during this. What? Oh, yeah? I think we would. Have you heard of the word evidence before? Yeah. The police are interested in evidence, and you complain they're obsessed with getting this recording, okay? And then guess what? Even though you couldn't do that, they say, well, okay, the next step is you gotta make a deposition. You gotta make a statement. You gotta tell your story. Whatever. If there gotta be 5 cops in the room, there's gotta be an audio recorder, video recorder. There's probably gotta be a translator. You're doing this in English in Thailand, and you think that's police incompetence? The exact opposite of those things would have been incompetence. This is police competence. How did you imagine they would proceed with the case with no evidence and not even a deposition from your girlfriend? They probably need a sworn deposition from you too. The only other explanation, so he just says it was a mess. Like, you think it's unreasonable for the police to ask you to tell your side of the story. They're not even confronting you with someone else's side. They're not confronting you with contrary evidence. They're asking you for your evidence and your side of the story, and you feel persecuted. You're doing all this in English. You're not providing a translator or anything in Thailand. You're not speaking Thai. Whoa! Special snowflake syndrome down at, City Police Department number 6. This is ridiculous. Okay. There's only one other thing given. There's only one other reason given for why, quote, this was a mess, and you gave up. You dropped the case. It's nobody else's fault but yours, homie. You've come here on the internet and told us you had a rock-solid case. You told us you were going to win. You were going to go to court and you were going to win. You did a fundraiser and everything. All talk, huh? Why did you drop the case? This case that means so much to you, that you're trying to fuck up my life. You're trying to start beef with me, with Foot Soldier, with Dom Bauer. You're at war with the whole world over this case you believe so much in. Why did you drop it? Because it was a mess and I was running out of days on my Thai tourist visa. You're in Bangkok, Thailand. You can take a bus to the border with Cambodia in hours. You can cross the border into Cambodia, you can get a new tourist visa, and you can come back. And you know what? That bus is going to be full of other white guys who are on long-term vacation, retirement, whatever it is, who are doing exactly the same shit. If you want to, Michael, you can keep going into Cambodia and have a quick beach vacation in Sihanoukville or Kap. A lot of nice beaches there. People do that too. And then come back to Bangkok and keep going with your crusade. If your tourist visa was going to end, you said your tourist visa was going to end and Hannah didn't want to make the deposition alone. Dude, that is not even a one-day problem to take care of. And you know what else? Right there in Bangkok, I've done all this. I've taken that bus, Michael. I'm going to tell you some other shit, homie. If it was Durian Rider, he could have rode his bike to the Cambodian border. It's an easy highway. It's not that far a bike ride. You can ride your bike from Bangkok airport to the Cambodian border. It is no big deal. If you didn't want to take the bus to the Cambodian border, guess what, Michael? You can't bullshit me. I've done all these things myself. You can get what's called a visa extension right there in Bangkok.
And also my visa was running out, so I had to leave Thailand, and Hannah didn't want to do this alone, and it was just a mess.
I've been to the office. I've paid for a tourist visa extension myself. I've crossed the Cambodian border. I've crossed the Laotian border. I've done it all. That's the other thing that's weird about his lies, right? Like one of his other lies is, they started. He never defines what started means. They started this defamation case.
So we get the lawsuit started and we wait for Harley to get back to Australia. But he doesn't go back. He hides out in Thailand. So what we decide to do after a while is to just say, screw it.
So what we decide to do after a while is to just say, screw it.
They started this defamation case, but then it had to stop because Durian Rider left the country? Who do you think you're talking to? I had a real defamation case against Durian Rider with real legal paperwork, unlike your phony defamation case where all you show is a receipt for 5,000 baht. I don't know what you got for those 5,000 baht, homie. I don't think you started a defamation. Durian Rider exited and re-entered Thailand, I would guess 12 times. He was exiting and re-entering Thailand constantly during my legal case with him. And you're here telling us there was no way to proceed with the legal case because it's Durian Rider's fault.
So we contact the New Zealand embassy and they recommend a lawyer and we start the whole lawsuit there. And when we start to get the lawsuit running, of course, Harley flees the country. Now that we already were in Thailand, we decided to report the rape too. Hannah had to tell the whole thing in front of like 5 policemen or something. It was just a mess. And also my visa was running out, so I had to leave Thailand, and Hannah didn't want to do this alone, and it was just a mess.
It's not that anyone told you your case was bullshit and couldn't go forward, right? It's not that the cops or your lawyers or the embassy said to you, which is basically what we see really politely in those messages. Look, we've done all we can do for you. You don't have a case here. This is another hilarious situation where before I sit down to record with Melissa, I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit. This is only going to take 2 minutes. And to me, it is bullshit. This whole thing is just a joke.